That's where most of that data comes from.
Wow.
So
Well, who needs that?
We won't shut down the power company.
Who needs that,
Because it probably came from wind, and if it came from wind, it sucks.
Right.
Yes.
You know, it's probably not real electricity.
Only suckers use wind energy.
Kills birds. Feral cats, too, didn't they say that?
Yep. China has no wind farms because they're smarter than we are.
Yeah. Why would they want those?
I don't know. The solar's been working great on the farm. We've just been getting the juice lately.
Really? Does it work good out for you?
Good winter for solar and whitefish.
Yeah, holy cow.
Yeah, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beer Buds and the Big Sky Podcast. Grab a drink, buckle up, and prepare to question your life's choices, because you're just in for a handful of Montana guys trying to make some sense of this madness. Joining us tonight, we have Russell Cleveland, candidate for Montana's 1st District, and Jordan Herrera, running for Congress in Missouri. And just as always, we have our hosts. Ed O'Neill, excuse me, Mike Jopek, how you doing?
Hey, Kevin, good to see you. You're looking handsome as ever. Hey, I was listening to Montana Public Radio. You know, the Republicans had that get-together in Great Falls. And, you know, instead of talking about, like, how expensive it is in Montana to live or how to make stuff more affordable, you know what they were talking about is how to make the courts more partisan. You know, and then Judge Dan Wilson was over there, and he's still pig-biting mad that somebody had to wear a mask 4 years ago. He's over there talking about it. And the other thing the Republicans are talking about, the Zinke Party's talking about, is they want to have a constitutional convention in Montana, redo our Constitution. It's what planet are these guys on? Jesus.
Well, they're mad about the abortion thing, that's for sure.
And we got one city council member stepping in for another, Andy Fury.
Good one.
Good to see you, Kevin. Good to see everybody else. Glad to be here. Glad I happened to go to the Super Bowl at the Tap House on Sunday and watch the Seahawks win the game, which was fabulous. A lot of people didn't like it, but good defensive game. And, well, I'd have to say bad coaching on the Patriots' part when they couldn't answer the defense. And they had a basic Gen Zer as a quarterback who, well, you know, unless you tell him what to do, he's not going to figure it out on his own.
Exactly. So hard.
So there you go. But anyway, glad to be here, and thanks.
Shout out Kalispell native Patrick O'Connell, first tackle of the game on kickoff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
All right, and we also have Ryan Hennon.
Yeah, that Super Bowl was crazy. If Robert Kraft would have spent as much time and energy protecting Drake May as he did Jeffrey Epstein, maybe it would have been a decent game. But you can't blame Robert too much. He heard Seattle's motto is "We are 12," and he got all excited.
Ooh, he probably did.
Ouch.
And we got the mastermind, Ed Doctor.
Pam Bondi, that blonde bimbo from Tampa. I'm pretty sure she got her start at Mom's Venus, and if you don't know where that is, just look it up. It's a great place for dinner anyway. But to hear her talk about and deflect during this hearing this morning the whole time, talk about how we have the greatest economy, how President Trump is the greatest president we've ever had, all this horseshit that comes out of here, and then she comes up and says to Ted Lieu, and he says, you know, you're breaking the law. You just lied. You're under oath. And she says, you know, you don't tell me I'm breaking the law. I'm like, bitch. A lot of people could be telling you broke the law in a couple fucking years from now. Just wait.
Right.
This ain't nothing.
I was telling Andy I'm going to try that with my wife when I get home. And
good idea.
She says, you didn't take the garbage out. And I'm going to say, the Dow's at 50,000 and you're talking about the garbage? I mean, come on.
What's
That's
your
going to work out real
problem?
well for you.
I think Mark would be all over that.
But this is why we can't let people from Florida get positions of power.
Or Missouri, I think, except for our guest here, Jordan Herrera.
Yeah.
But anyway, first we'll start with Russ, because we check in with Russ Cleveland here, running for MT1, and we like to hear from him every once in a while, see what he's up to. And so, Russ, you had an event last night in Bozeman. Maybe tell us about that and what else you've been up to.
Looking good, Russ.
Did you call it Mentee? Mentee 1? Is that what you said?
MT.
Yeah, MT1.
MT1.
I thought that was a beer that was made down in
right.
Phillipsburg.
This is an empty one. Broken.
Is this an empty one? Yeah. We were in Bozeman last night, had our first roundtable or forum with all four candidates. Montana College Dems hosted it right on campus at Montana State University. Great turnout, great questions, really well organized.
Good.
They did a great job. So it was an interesting kickoff for sure.
Where can people find that? Is it posted online somewhere?
Yeah, it's they got the whole video actually right on. If you go to Instagram, you can find it on Montana College Dems Instagram. They have the full. It's about a little over an hour long.
Sweet.
it's not chopped up or anything, but it's a great watch. I rewatched it last night, and they did a good job.
I'll look for Zinky in the crowd with Groucho Marx glasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can never miss him because he always rides in on a horse.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Easy to spot.
I know. I see the National Democrats finally figured out that Zinke was in trouble. They're going to start throwing some weight around.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Saw that yesterday. They finally weighed in that this race is winnable. It only took them, well, shoot, I've been in this thing over 10 months now.
Holy smokes.
I was going to say, I felt like May when we first met Russ.
Yeah, I got in last April. So it's been about almost 10 months on the dot. So they finally decided to get on board, it looks like, and realize that this is a flippable seat after all, even though I've been telling them that for 10 months. But, some people are slow to learn, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not the Montana Democrats.
No,
not them.
No.
Well, I think they finally looked at Zinke's poll. Zinke put out that poll, but he's counting on a red wave to come to Montana if he's going to win. And I don't see a red wave coming this way right now.
No.
That's the only way he can win. That's the only way he can win a poll is if he adds a +5, +10 red wave coming back to Montana, which we know is not happening anywhere in the country right now.
No, that Texas race.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, a 30-point swing in 18 months, in Texas.
Jesus, 30 points.
So that's
the most bipolar electorate in the world, the American voter. It's just like, what the hell is going on here?
I know. I talked to a friend of mine, and he's voted for Trump, and I said, listen, and he's like, totally regrets it.
This is Steve. Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. Totally regret it. I go, and he says, and I'm like, dude, I was raising the alarms. I told you this is going to happen. He goes, yeah, well, I didn't really think. I go, none of you did.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why is our memory so goddamn short in this country? After he wasn't president the first time, there was this sigh, and people were getting along, and life seemed normal, and people were spending money, and it was good. Now we get this again. We have constant turmoil, constant
because
bullshit.
Sleepy Joe put us all to sleep for 4 years.
Right, yeah,
I'll take that.
Well, and white people didn't listen to him at every single campaign rally he had for the entire campaign. I mean, he said all the shit that he's doing now.
Yeah, he said it.
And actually worse is what he's doing.
Right.
But, I mean, he said he was going to do it.
Yep.
And now he's doing it. They're like, what? You didn't tell me that. Particularly the farm communities. I mean, these guys are all like, well, he turning his back on us and grain prices are really, really low. It's like, yeah, last time they were this low was, that'd be 2017 maybe. It's like, get a clue, people.
Exactly. Well, and all the things that he said he was going to do, that side said, no, he's not going to, end that war in a day. They say that now. They say, he's going to lower price everything. He didn't. He did the crazy shit that they didn't think he would do.
Well, it's not just the crazy stuff. I mean, you listen to a guy like Zinke over there, that bootlicker Yes Man, and he's like, he's doing a great job. There's nothing in the Epstein file. The economy is doing great. It's like, what planet are you on?
No kidding.
It's insane, man. I mean, and Russ, are you? I really Zinke's been kind of silent, right? I mean, it's weird. You don't hear much from him.
I mean, he's pulling lower than a snake's belly, as you know, and it's on its way down. It's not getting any higher, and I think that's why finally there's some confidence in the electorate. The folks in D.C. are finally backing it because they can see that he's on his way out, regardless of who comes out of this primary. But I think we gotta make sure we're voting the right person in June, or we're going to be stuck with this guy 2 more years.
Yeah, you're damn right.
So, and to me, last night that was made pretty clear. That forum last night really showed the difference between some of us and who's prepared to do the work and who's just talking the talk. So,
well, I mean, Zinke's still got a chance. I mean, maybe he could sponsor one piece of legislation.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, there.
I mean, he didn't his first term.
No.
0.
Yeah.
This term 0.
No, he's trying to do away with the boundary waters protection.
I forgot about that.
He's trying to destroy the boundary waters.
He wants to sell some of our public lands too. I'm sure he's into that. So what are you up to next, Russ? Before we let you go, what's coming up this weekend? Anything cool?
Yeah, I got a couple events in Butte on Friday. Georgetown on Saturday, Anaconda on Saturday, another Tap Talks down in Georgetown. So We got a couple cool events coming up. Get to meet with the old Coach Bob Green down there in Butte on Friday morning. So
that's a great
looking forward to
endorsement.
catching up with him
You got to get that.
Kicking around some old memories and so I'm excited to meet with him and talk shop a little bit. That's always an interesting experience. So
it's like watching your mother-in-law go off a cliff in a Cadillac.
Mixed emotions.
It's so great.
So you're going to be at the brewery in Phillipsburg?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's where we're headed. I'd have to double check the calendar, but we got a great weekend lined up of events. This is actually my first day home. I just got home today. I've been out on the road almost a week now, and so it'd be nice to sleep in my own bed. But we've been pounding the pavement and meeting a lot of great people. Last night I actually attended after the forum. Some interesting things came out last night about some dark money flowing through this primary already, so I'm sure you'll see some of that coming out if you haven't.
We're talking about dark money tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, it's everywhere, as you guys know. So even the people who say they're not taking it, some of them are not. Obviously, big surprise politicians, right? Not telling the truth.
What?
That's why we can't elect former lobbyists.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a time to take a gamble and put a chameleon up against Ryan Zinke. So I think we're definitely in a unique position this go around.
So you've been logging your miles?
Yeah, I'm a little over 41,000 now.
There you go.
Oh man, that's a lot.
Oh my God.
since last April, yeah, we're averaging about a little over 4,000 a month right now.
Man,
so
that's what it takes.
It's picked up great. Yeah. So last night, though, last thing I'll finish up. It was cool to see the Bozeman community come together. It was the first big community gathering that I've seen where local leadership were actually briefing the community on how to interact with ICE and how to handle ICE in communities. Everyone from police to city attorney. Great questions asked, and it's interesting. We're in this moment now where we've got this federal police force pushing its weight around, and I called on Governor Gianforte to really help Montanans have some assurances that that wasn't going to happen here in Montana. Of course, no answer. Big surprise there.
Right.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But we're at this moment where even local law enforcement that is concerned about how we're going to interact with these federal forces who are undertrained, don't know the area, kind of come in like a bull in a china shop and make a mess of things. And
they have complete immunity.
It's you guys. It is the definition of federal overreach that we're seeing, and
coming from the right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
went
from
from
the right.
Montana went from
The
real
people that
ID.
invented black helicopters.
Yeah.
Yes.
We went from real ID. We don't want real ID. We don't want the Patriot Act to suddenly be like, oh, we want mass federal agents everywhere. It's
When we
like,
had Democratic
wait a minute.
governors, we fought that stuff.
Right.
We did.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Well, it's interesting. Terry, my wife, was talking with a friend that we've known for a long, long time. He's from Chicago. Her son is a policeman in Chicago and is talking about how bad it is there. And he said the interesting part is all local law enforcement and local officials are all getting beat up for failure to cooperate. But he goes, it's actually the opposite of that. They're totally unwilling to cooperate with local law enforcement.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that.
Because I'm sure it's like, I got a bulletproof vest and a mask.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
It's like, I'm the big guy here on the block, so you're just a little peon local cop.
Yeah, there's that one video where the guy said, "You raise your voice at me, and I erase your voice." Oh, and it was like, oh
Whoa,
my goodness!
whoa.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's great.
God
Well,
damn.
that's what happens when they're hiring Proud Boys and whatever else to get in there. There's virtually no background check, no training. These guys are the worst of the worst, and they're getting paid the most out of any law enforcement out there.
I did hear they couldn't have no more than 10 domestic battery convictions on their record.
It's really not that much.
No.
Yeah,
That's only 10.
Yeah.
I heard there was some kind of qualification.
And it shows a predisposition to violence.
It does. Nice to hear from you, Russ. We better get to Jordan before the sun goes down there in Missouri.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, no kidding, right? Good luck, Jordan. Nice to meet you.
I appreciate
nice
that.
seeing
Thank
you guys.
Good to see you, Russ.
All right, see you, Russ.
Good to see you,
Take
Russ.
care, Russ.
All right, Jordan. Now we'll get to the meat. That's just, a guy that just he's a wannabe dreamer. No, we really like Russ a lot. He's somebody that, we feel that just a guy that is he's basically he has morals. He's telling us that he's not going to take the dark money, not going to take and he's stuck with that, and I can really respect him for that. I think I've been telling most people I know, I go, just make sure that I'd vote for whoever makes a pledge to not take dark money and can prove it. Yeah. I don't give a fuck if they're Republican. I don't care if they're a Democrat. I don't care if they're a communist. I'm going to vote for him.
I think Russ is the only guy not taking the PAC money.
You think he's the only one?
I think he probably is. Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
well, Sam says he's not taking
said
any.
He wasn't.
Sam's not taking it?
I think that's what he says on his website. Like
he does say that.
For, not bought,
he does.
Or something.
Well, but Zinke just said that yesterday too. So.
Oh yeah.
Zinke said
I'm guessing Reigns hasn't had any offered.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
Reigns is begging, but no one's giving
So
him
Missouri's obviously we just interviewed a woman from Arkansas, and I'm assuming Missouri's going through the same problems. A lot of people voting for Trump, a lot of people not real happy. A lot of them are the farmers.
Right.
And you're seeing that, she came up with a lot of really good things about how, they're growing just shit crops where they could be growing some of the best things in the world. And, the corporations it's just not the way it is. And, she seemed like somebody that would at least go to Washington and fight and bring some of that back and help. And I'm assuming, I would assume you're on that same page. But I got one question.
Yeah.
One thing I like to bring up to the politicians we talk to and have you kind of elaborate on it. In my opinion, I think it might be a good idea, and I'm not sure why. I don't see Democrats saying, okay, we made a mistake. We totally screwed up on the border. I promise we're going to, do a better job, but trust us because the economy's always better under us.
Trust us.
Trust us. I know. And nobody's going to trust them. What do you think is going to make people trust Democrats this time? What's the message?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. And it's kind of been a tough one to answer, right? So I think let's start with, for the last year, Democrats across the country have been asking, who is the de facto leader of our party? And we're still asking that question a year later, which gives us the answer. We're not looking for a leader. We are looking for a movement. And from that movement, leader will rise. For me, what has been proving successful, because I talked to conservatives, I grew up in Nebraska. I served in the military for just under 16 years. Go Big Red. And then I worked for Andrew Bailey here in Missouri. But all along the way, even though I've been surrounded by conservative audiences, it didn't really matter to me. What mattered more was connecting with people, getting real work done, and finding spaces in which we can build community. So I'm running on 4 issues, which speaks to this exact point. Housing, healthcare, education, whether it's public education or higher education, and food security. And if we loop everything back to those 4 issues, which is what I've been doing here in Missouri, we win. We always win. So to your point about immigration, the Democrats have to own that part too. That under Obama and Biden, we had the ability to change immigration policy, and we failed. We didn't do anything. As a Hispanic American, trust me, I understand that narrative. And it frustrates me to no end to see how Hispanic and Latino people are now being used in this sort of idea of this is new to us. Well, we had a whole Trump 1 administration that abused families.
Short memory syndrome.
Kids. It took Biden 2 years. I mean, he might have been asleep at the time, but it took him 2 years to reunite those families. This is nothing new for our community. And so, when it comes to immigration, I'm going to be very, very different than everyone else. I'll tell you that much. And it's because I've done the research. So behind me is a bunch of books. I actually read them. But in here is a bunch of war planning books, battle and strategy. And it's because I have a U.S. military history degree that focused on battle and strategy. Wow. And so, so I look at what we've done over in Europe and in the Asian Pacific theater with our military alliances and geopolitical stability as it came forward from it. Nation building is where I believe the answer is for immigration. If we are nation building with Guatemala, Ecuador, Nicaragua, we are going to have a greater long-term success, not only handling immigration on our borders, but also drug trafficking and human trafficking coming from these nations. And one way I humanize these folks here across Missouri, because it is kind of hard to relay the story of a Guatemalan to, say, a Missouri farmer.
Yeah.
But it's very simple when you break it down like this. I'm going to ask you four gentlemen this. You have a daughter and you live in Guatemala, and this is the situation in Guatemala. She doesn't have access to an education. There's no rights for girls to have education there.
Wow.
She will always have healthcare insecurity, and she will always be food insecure unless she marries someone else, which she will then be considered property. Now, you're her father. How many miles are you willing to walk for her to have a shot at a life?
As many as it takes.
As many as it takes. Yep. Nope, without a doubt.
Changes every single conservative on how they look at these folks, right?
Right.
They've been trained to dehumanize them.
Yep.
It's our job to humanize them, but with real stories, not made up BS. Like real stories, and also showing the damage. So if we look at our American history, right, from the 1950s through the 80s, we destabilized these nations. We toppled their governments, installed our own dictators and leaders, and now we are left with the corruption and the runoff that we've created. If we are going back in there like the stewards we should be and building up these nations, and I'm not saying like troop placements of 50,000 people like we see in Germany today. I think that's crazy.
Right.
What I'm talking about is right-sized mission sets to get the job done. And in that nation building, I do believe that we should be providing some kind of resource within these host nations, with their support, of course, to make this happen. I don't believe in invasions in Venezuela or annexing annexing Greenland from Denmark. That's
right.
Crazy. I think we can do a hell of a lot better than what Donald Trump's Western Hemisphere occupation policy is all about.
Yeah, no, who knows what that's about? Are you talking to Latinos and Hispanics? You know, obviously, when you're out on the trail here, ones that probably voted for Trump because record number voted for Trump this year. Again, the short memory is a big problem for this country. But what are they saying to you?
That's a great question, and it's kind of a hard audience. So I'll admit I grew up in Nebraska in the 1990s, which meant we didn't really get the opportunity to learn Spanish. It was more shamed where I grew up to learn Spanish and to embrace your heritage in the 90s. So for me, I never really experienced that. So I have to do a lot of goodwill brokering with the Hispanic and Latino community to earn their trust. And through my community service, I already have done that. I represent and advocate for Hispanic and Latino lawyers across the country. In fact, Hispanic folks only make about 6% of all lawyers across the United States. So we're really, really underrepresented in the field. In fact, if I win, when I win this seat here in Missouri and I beat Mark Alford, not only will I be the first Hispanic Latino person to hold a federal seat in Missouri, but I would also be the first person to hold a statewide influence, at least, over Missouri. That's never happened either.
That's pretty amazing. Wow. Right. I mean, with such a farming community, manufacturing community, that's amazing.
Right. Well, and even when we're talking about our farmers, that's an important field to, pun intended, that's an important field to speak to, right? Right now, farmers are 3.5 to 5 times more likely than in any other industry to take their own lives. Wow. Additionally, with soy, corn, and cattle being ripped out from underneath farmers, in particular here in Missouri, especially as it relates to the cattle industry. And yet we see Donald Trump put $40 billion into Argentinian cattle. What the hell is that about? I come from Nebraska, also we're a cattle state and a corn state. So I feel the pain of these farmers. They're my family members. They're my neighbors from back home in Nebraska. And I don't know if you fellas are familiar with Cabela's Hunting and Gaming.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sydney.
All right, that started in my
in
hometown
Nebraska,
of
right?
Sydney, Nebraska. Yeah, I was Dick and Mary Cabela. I was their paper boy growing up.
Oh, there you go. Wow, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Put that on your resume.
Yeah, I would.
Oh yeah, it is. Actually, the second job I ever had, I was working for a company called Sagebrush, and I was making lead ball shot and cotton wad cleaner for bore cleaners for muzzle load. We were doing muzzle load rifle kind of like work and stuff like that, butt stock fabrication, all of that out of a company named Sagebrush. It's no longer around, but we sold our products also to Cabela's. It was awesome. I loved it. I don't know if anybody has shot muzzle load before, but it's a lot of fun.
Damn, that's really cool.
Yeah, you don't really get Democrats like me very often who have this experience, and we can immediately counter everything that the Republicans are saying, right? With smart candidates who come with the right resume. So to your point about Latinos, right? How do we reach this audience? Well, historically, they've kind of had their trust broken in a lot of ways by Democrats also.
Yes.
And so we have to come forward with smart immigration policy. Personally, there is an immigration policy that I would want to work back toward, which is the work immigration visa process, wherein in the United States, you used to be able to work 8 years, reporting into your court, paying taxes, making sure that you're an upstanding citizen, and you earned your naturalization over time. That happened for millions of Americans. And that's something that Reagan even supported.
I was going to say a lot under Reagan and Bush.
Yep.
Right, exactly. And even under Reagan, which amnesty was the big deal under Reagan, right?
The A word.
You don't hear much about that, do you?
No.
No. And, I'm not going to throw it around like I'm fighting for amnesty. I mean, I do think it was valuable. I think there's something to say for these folks who've been living in our country for decades, who've paid taxes for decades and have done nothing wrong. Why in the hell are we throwing them out? They're contributing members of their community.
Paying more in tax than Elon Musk.
Right.
Right. Yes. Great point. But, I think whatever we do have to come to the table with solutions on how we are going to not only provide border security, but also a pathway to citizenship for immigrants. Quite personally, I'm in favor of work visas being opened up and broadened so that way folks can work across our border and not only pay in terms of employment tax to our system here on the federal side, but also be able to be contributing members on the other side of the border and help clean things up. I know so many medical professionals who do it the opposite way, right? They're American doctors and dentists and lawyers who just hop right over the Mexican border and open up shop and make a killing.
Yes.
We can prevent that too from happening, and we can keep those dollars here and back in the communities that they should be serving.
So quick question, Jordan, on immigration, going back to the bipartisan bill that Trump killed during the campaign, which was probably not a bad bill. So I'm wondering, does bipartisan legislation have a chance once Trump's out of the picture and everybody can settle down a little bit and it's not used solely as a campaign issue to bludgeon everybody else with?
Yeah.
Great question. So here in Missouri, and I like to tell little anecdotes. I apologize for that. But to answer your question about bipartisanship, it's all how you approach. So here in Missouri, our district was cracked into 3 parts, and the after effects of that were we had 5 statewide petitions then going off. And so we needed Democrats to organize, sign all of these things, and get it done. But we also needed Republicans to sign off on these things too, to really make the numbers matter. Overwhelmingly, the group People Not Politicians, all they needed to get was around 117 to 120,000 signatures. They recovered 305,000.
Wow.
The bipartisanship is there. It's with the people. And when people are speaking up, they're shouting at their Republican leaders in office today. And in my state, we have a Republican supermajority. So we have nothing but to look at the Republican Party for all of the situations that are going on today.
We have the same here.
Yeah, and we have the same here. And, I think people are starting to pay attention to here because I've got a bar and a lot of people come in. And, we live in a county that's, obviously pretty red. But you're seeing...
Except for whitefish.
For whitefish. But you're seeing some of the attitude change. I think
no one's wearing their MAGA hats anymore.
Nobody's wearing the MAGA hats. There's no flags.
Unless you go to Costco.
And, I tell people, I go, I mean, the last 5 years in Montana, we've had nothing but Republicans run absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And pretty much every business owner will tell you that, yes, our costs on everything have gone up. Everything. It's, nothing is cheaper. I mean, it's just, it's tough. And, maybe more and more people are saying, well, what do you got to lose? I almost think that should be the fucking. Well, that was the slogan last time, though.
Yeah.
That's how Biden won. What do you got to lose? I'm not voting for Biden. I'm voting against that son of a bitch. That was the thing. And, and I think, watching your videos and now talking to you and a lot of the other people we've talked to and candidates that we've gotten to know, you're seeing a little more. Like these people are. I think they realize you got to be real. You got to be a real person.
Yeah, it's hitting their pocket.
You got to
100%.
care. It's
I
hitting their
lead with
pocketbooks.
vulnerability. I lead with vulnerability. I usually say a couple of phrases at the beginning of anything that I'm talking about. First is, and I learned this from a couple of fantastic command chiefs and master sergeants all along the way, fantastic colonels and mentors who've given me these bits of logic. The first is vulnerability begets vulnerability. Trust begets trust. If I want you to trust me, I need to give you my trust. And if I want to learn the pain points in your life, meaning you be vulnerable with me, I need to tell you my truth and tell you why I'm willing to be vulnerable with you, what I'm trying to do. Growing up poor, and this is what keeps me motivated in these moments when it's difficult to reach folks. I lived by a logic that was given no other opportunity, I can do anything. Meaning, if I only have one job, one shot, and that's the way I'm going to make that dollar, I'm going to make that job work for me. I'm going to be the best at it, and I'm going to get promoted faster than anyone else has. Given no other opportunity, I can do anything. So when you go at life with that sort of mentality, that belief in yourself, that, hell, I grew up eating sometimes nothing at night. I know what that feels like. I know what real stomach pains do feel like. And today, it's the thing that keeps me motivated. It's the thing that keeps me going. And when we lead with these vulnerable stories, it reaches people, because I guarantee you, one of you has been exactly where I've been.
Oh, I've eaten government cheese.
Right.
I ate government cheese for about 10 years. Reagan kind of hurt us.
I've had a nap for dinner before. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's leading with those stories, though, that I can easily ask, a mom, what are the pain points in your life when you open the refrigerator door and you have to make breakfast before school? That's a real thing that moms deal with. And she's going to know that thing that hits her in the chest. Or when I ask dads, what's the thing that's keeping you up at night and why you can't go to sleep easy? That's a real thing, too. Dads feel that stuff. And so I'll give an example of I talk about things in a different way. So I don't like the terms pro-life and pro-choice, and I usually ask people to throw them out the door before we have this conversation. And what that also allows me to do is reset the narrative. Now, I'm a lawyer, so I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm changing the arguments. We're not going to have old arguments. Yeah, we're not going to have old arguments. We're going to have new conversations. And so rather than saying pro-life and pro-choice, let's call it what it is. They are pro-birth, and we support life. That is who we are. We believe that women get the opportunity to decide. That is a conversation between her and her provider forever and always, because individual freedom matters. It's in the Constitution, right? Yeah. But we also support life, making sure that mom, when she's going into the delivery room, whether you're a new young family starting out or a single parent, you don't end up in bankruptcy leaving the delivery room. We subsidize delivery. We subsidize adoption so families can complete themselves without going into bankruptcy. We make sure that SNAP and WIC and school meals are fully funded across the country. And it's my belief that childcare is similar to elder care and disabled care, and that these are just people who lack the ability to care for themselves. And it's reasonable to say that when people can't care for themselves, their health insurance should cover it. If we want people to really care about the life of mom and child, we need to get to a public insurance option or a Medicare for all vehicle to get us to Medicare for all, I believe, is public insurance option. And by including childcare in that public insurance option, along with elder and disabled care, we can then make the federal government the largest employer of daycare providers and dropping down the costs across the nation for how much parents pay out of pocket every month. There are multiple ways to fix multiple problems with solutions like this.
No, and that's something that I think it's going to be pretty important. Finally, I'm going to say this election, I mean, it should always be important. You know, the question is asked more and more is like, why don't we have health insurance if every other country does, you know, like we're really starting to talk about that. We're hearing that narrative, and hopefully guys like you and Russ and other people that are pushing this, you know, hopefully people are listening to that and realize it's a possibility. You know, a lot of people have been told for a long time, mainly by the right, that it's just not a possibility. If we gave everybody health care, it would bankrupt this country. That's fucking bullshit, you know. And
it was possible for Zinke to increase my insurance premiums by $2,000 a year.
Right.
It was real possible for him to do that.
Yep, that happens.
Right.
But
well, one of the things I've done here in Kansas City and in the metro is I've gone intentionally into every homeless shelter and every transitional program. And the two biggest groups going in there today are single moms with kids, and it's elderly.
Yeah.
And the two biggest reasons why people are finding themselves in homelessness, number one, housing costs. Number two, 4 out of 10 people cite healthcare costs as their reason for homelessness. So homelessness today in America is not a moral issue. It's not a substance abuse or a mental health issue. It's housing and healthcare. It's everyday costs in America. And until we get this right, we are going to keep seeing our elders in these sort of situations. It's time that we move forward not only with a public insurance option with the goal of Medicare for all, but it's because, look, healthcare is an infrastructural need to having a quality American life. And that's the way I talk about housing, healthcare, education, and food security. I'm not saying we provide a free giveaway for everything, but in terms of like healthcare, at least providing for children like that,
right.
That seems like a place where we can all agree is a starting point.
And that's probably that's a good argument to make and a good place to start. But well, anyway, we should be moving along. So we wish you the best of luck.
How do people find you?
And yeah, let us know where people can find you and what your plans are coming up.
No problem. So if you go to www.jordanjherrera.com, you'll be able to find out more about me, reasons why I'm running, how to chip in so we can unseat Mark Alford. But also on my website, there's an events calendar, and through all of my social media links, I'm in 22 counties. We've traveled to 24 out of 22 already, so I'm already expanding. We've been trying to run our congressional race like it's a Senate race. We've been building the base up all across the state, so please follow me on social media to find out where we're going to be next. I think within the next week, we are in Jefferson City, and then we are in Butler, Missouri. We're here in Kansas City, and then we'll be canvassing also in Warrensburg, right outside of Whiteman Air Force Base.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Jordan, and good luck, man.
Cool. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you so much.
All right.
You know, it's nice that we've been able to, every candidate we have interviewed seem like pretty cool people and like honest and good and
well-spoken.
They care, you know. And he is really well-spoken. You can kind of tell he's a lawyer, you know. But he was in the service for a while, you know.
Yeah, that's
and
swindler. You
got to give it to him. I'm sure, you know, he probably was a GI Bill guy, you know. I forgot to ask him that, but, you know, he did everything the right way. And he became somebody that can put himself in a position to actually run for Congress. That's awesome, you know. I mean,
tough district.
Crazy too that he'd be the first Latino in Missouri. That kind of blew my mind, man, because like this country is 18% Latino, you know, like, I mean, wow, you know, you'd think one, but Missouri's fucking pretty Idaho.
Yeah, it gets pretty red pretty quickly in Missouri.
Yeah,
Missouri.
You know, but I think, you know, we're in for it. Things are gonna, you know, we'll see. But things are changing. I think they're changing fast.
Well, and I think a lot of what he said tonight resonates with people. Is he's really works hard. It sounds like on trying to pull the ideology out of people.
Yes, you have to
put that aside, get that off the table, and then talk to them about their own personal life experiences. And I think we all know that. When you put on the table like that, then people, they make the right decisions.
Yeah, that's
they
the key,
know
man.
what affects them and how their lives get screwed by government action.
Like
quite frankly, you know?
If you could figure out how to pull the ideology out of these people and I mean, that would change everything. It would, if people absolutely had to vote in their interests.
Well, ideology seems to be pretty expensive when you look at your pocketbook.
Holy shit, it sure is. Less brown people, though, huh?
Right, yeah.
I mean,
finding out how profitable this culture war is.
Just a really quick thing on that, and Mike knows this better than I do, but the first year Schweitzer got elected was probably the most great example of that. We'd been Republican everything for decades prior to that.
Yeah.
That year, all 5 top elected officials were elected as Democrats.
Yep.
The Senate was 50-50. The House was a Democratic House. We overwhelmingly passed medical marijuana that year.
Yep.
But we overwhelmingly voted for George Bush.
Yes. Yep.
And there's why, because on the local level, you could understand stuff. It made sense to you.
Yeah.
We also passed the cyanide leach mine ban.
Yep.
Right.
For the gold mine that was going in up on the Blackfoot.
Yep.
So everybody's like, well, I fish on the Blackfoot. I don't want my fishery to get fucked up, right? I got friends that need to smoke weed. They got all of that. Schweitzer was a pretty populist kind of guy, even though you wanted to feel like you had new shoes every time you saw him. But, so people on a local level, they got it. But when it got to the bigger, broader thing where they couldn't really understand, they just straight ideology. That was their vote.
Right, that's it. That's it.
You know?
Well, you brought up, the culture wars and everything in this Super Bowl halftime show. I had a thought. So I was like, I mean, look, we're fucking fighting about Super Bowl halftime shows here in the country.
Oh, yeah.
We're not fighting about the Epstein files.
Oh, yeah, it's a big distraction.
We're not fighting about a government that's doing whatever it wants, that's murdering its own citizens, that's doing all this horrendous shit. We're worried about a fucking halftime show.
About Mr. Bunny.
Mr. Buddy. I mean,
I will say
crazy.
I was a little shocked because I don't know anything about Bad Bunny. Don't have anything against him. I just don't really care.
Comer's calling for an investigation.
Sure.
Yes.
Another one.
Oh,
But it's
big
like,
time.
I
Full
assume-
on.
Representative Andy Ogles from, and I'm going to look at my notes here really quick, who's a Republican from Tennessee, of all places, and he's on the House Committee on Energy and Commerce, which I'm not sure why the fuck they're going to do it there. But his quotes were the best, actually. He's like, indecent, explicit displays of gay sexual acts.
Yes.
Widespread twerking, grinding, and pelvic thrusts. This is a dude who is from Tennessee.
Yep.
Isn't that where Elvis was from?
Yeah.
Maybe. And did he not see?
I mean, Elvis invented that.
Yeah. Tennessean is tend to believe it.
He's never seen Kid Rock, you know? What about?
I try not to.
Yeah.
I just want to fish.
Oh, I know. It was
I
so
just want
sad.
to walk by. Fuck you. You know what you want? You want to beat your wife and not go to jail. That's what you
really
want. What the
embarrassing.
fuck? That was so embarrassing.
I thought
Wow.
Bad Bunny at least had. I thought he was like Mark Anthony or Ricky Martin. I thought he had some songs in English, and then about 10 minutes in, I was like, "Oh no, this is going to be
Nothing.
all Spanish."
Oh, but the symbolism was
Oh, yeah,
just,
it was
just
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was cool to watch.
Oh, it was great.
Between
There
the
was some infrastructure to that
sugarcane
thing,
and
too.
the power poles, and the
Whitefish Energy
linemen.
Holdings got a
Whitefish
shout out.
Energy
with
got a
the-
shout
the
out.
power
Yep.
poles.
But then the Republicans were all freaked out because they couldn't understand. Why isn't he doing it in English?
I know.
And now they're all like, he was swearing in Spanish.
Right.
I know. I
We
know.
He said, "Together we are America," and the Republicans said, "Oh, these people are so divisive."
Yeah. Well, and to want to open up a full investigation into the halftime show because that should never happen in America. And then Megyn Kelly again, you ignorant slut.
Oh, my God.
I couldn't believe it. She just has to go out there and she's getting desperate. That's what's going on.
Right.
She
knows.
I mean, like, I guess, here's how I look at it. You can get 30% of this country that's bigoted and just fucking stupid, and she's going to make enough money off them people. Because she can't get the other 10 or 20% of, maybe middle or people that used to watch her. Like, those people are, like, done with her. So just getting worse and worse. I mean, you're looking at a guy like Nick Fuentes. You're taking him more seriously than Megyn Kelly these days. What the fuck?
I mean, at least someone like Nick is, honest.
He's
I
very
guess.
honest.
He speaks what's on his mind.
He's incredibly honest.
Scarily.
But it's like, why do I keep hearing detailed complaints about the NFL and the Super Bowl halftime show
Dude.
from people who said they were never going to watch again after Colin Kaepernick?
Yep, never again.
Right.
And Trump
But-
told him to boycott it.
But think about it, too. And I mean, it's like, oh, God, it's all this sexual content. See, when did they invent NFL cheerleaders?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wonder.
right.
When did that start? I mean, they've been selling football with
Yeah.
sex forever. For
Pretty
God's sakes.
short skirts on those girls.
Yeah, instead of whining about the language, Mega, let's get you guys to focus on there, and there. Just the proper use of that.
Yeah,
we'll
let's do
start
that.
there.
Yeah.
It's a low bar.
I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. It's just, they make us care about it. They make us go fight about it. Because, like, to me, I'll be honest, I don't really know who Bad Bunny is at all. I am a 53-year-old dude that kind of watches the news and doesn't give a fuck about music. I'm not listening to that. I'm also not listening to fucking Kid Rock. He is a fucking moron. Yeah. I mean, he's always been a moron. I never gave a fuck about his politics, but I think he became popular. Like, he has been relevant in over 20 years, but this is what Turning Point comes up with as epic, you know?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. I mean, the guy's stupid as fuck. He's the one talking about fucking underage chicks in his songs. Yeah. He's the one with the pelvic thrust, grabbing his fucking dick through half of his videos, and somehow they got a problem with Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might be racist.
You think?
I saw a bunch of stuff that said no white people in sight. Diversity means erasing white people, and it was like, well, if you're erased, why don't you ever shut the fuck up then?
Yeah, do it.
And then my second thought was, well, look who wants DEI diversity initiatives now, Mr. White people.
Kind of weird, huh?
Funny how that works.
But Turning Point people were on Fox the next day saying what a huge success it was.
Big success.
With their maybe 5 million person audience.
Dude. I mean, aren't you embarrassed for these people?
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes.
Like, I am. Like, and I'm not a guy that always wants to be on the popular side, you know, or I want to be on the right side. I really do. And there's a lot of times where, you know, I haven't been on that side, but I've never sat there and pretended something that didn't exist to make myself feel better. Like, that is fucking, that's got to be a sign of a little mental fucking problems upstairs to do that and to give your little club and talk about how great you are and successful you are when you're looking at like 5 million viewers minus 120 million. Okay, you guys, just shut the fuck up over there. Just go away.
Well,
you lost.
I think my main takeaway from the Turning Point USA halftime show is, you know, these people, the Turning Point people, are pissed because everyone is laughing at them about how corny their show was.
Yeah.
And they were, you know, expecting it to usher in the Fourth Reich. And I think this is a problem that Trump, too, is having because they've gotten a taste now of winning the popular vote by like, 1%, 1.5%. And they truly believed that this was going to usher in a great cultural reset. And we were going to now live in a nation where there's no social consequences for racism, and people have been just champing at the bit to be racist these last 4 years, and now we can do it. And you look at this Turning Point USA, and everyone just kind of laughs and makes fun of them, and I think it really gets under their skin because it was truly embarrassing.
Yeah, the clips I saw,
truly
the review I read of it was just like, I liked a lot of reviews. I watched it so you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I did too. So I was at the bar, we're watching Super Bowl, and like, so this. And I don't know if you guys heard the story about the bar owner in, let's see here. It's funny, you know, I get notes on my emails now that condense it for me. Danielle Jurinsky said that she got backlash because of that. And she said every trash in her business or leaving one-star reviews. None of it's true. She's just a liar, you know, but because, you know, she wants to make the left look violent and bad. They booed because.
Where's she from, Wisconsin?
No, it's Colorado, Aurora, Colorado. And Aurora would be probably the reddest part of, you know, that area. But so I said, does anybody want to, you know, I said, does anybody want to watch the Turning Point halftime show? Steve Quinnell wants to.
I think I gave you some shit about it, too.
Everybody
Then the whole bar booed. Yeah.
Everybody booed,
I did get a chuckle about Turning Point USA putting on their own all-white puppy bowl, and it's just golden retrievers.
Well, good thing I didn't invite Christy Noem.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Do they still do the
last dog
bowl?
standing wins? Yeah, I think they do.
They do.
Because MAGA boycotted that, too, because there were Chihuahuas.
Oh boy, yeah, you don't want that. You gotta
that's
fucking
not a
export
man-to-man
those
dog
things.
there.
Whoa, you don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't know if did you notice the mark on my face? That's having a great day.
Oh, yeah.
It hurts me every day.
Doobie will get you.
Different ways every day. Unbelievable.
But the ratings were super low, like Andy said. It was like maybe 5 million people. They were so low. Trump was calling Brad Raffensperger in Georgia, saying, "I need 100 million views. That's all I need.
That's all I need.
You gotta find me 100 million, Brad."
Well, I liked all the screenshots from the Trump watch party in Mar-a-Lago. Every screen had Bad Bunny.
Of course.
On the halftime show.
Because there's nothing.
Because they don't give a fuck.
Because there's nothing these people love more than being triggered. There's
Yes.
nothing they love more than whining and bitching and moaning about.
We get them
this
a lot.
stuff.
We trigger them.
Yes,
a lot.
we
like
do.
It.
And
I
it's
love
like, look. Do I wish Springsteen played every year? Sure. But at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit about who's playing at the halftime show. I'm making wings.
No,
I'm
I don't care.
refreshing my dips.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seemed fun. It looked like a cool time.
Yeah.
Great symbolism. I'm telling you, the
symbolism.
I thought the symbolism was really good.
The set was really cool.
Well, and it's what the world wants, not just fucking 20% of the idiots that love Donald Trump and are still attached to this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. It's like those people, they're dying off. They're fucking going away. This is I mean, and it's proven time and time again. Anything that Trump says or the right or Fox News or OAN says, we need to boycott this, we need to do something about this, don't watch this. It's always super popular. It's never affects any viewership at all, any numbers on Nielsen, none of it.
Yeah, I was expecting Trump to come out there the next day and ban the nickel. Yeah. I mean, the last time he banned a penny after he got upset at football, and that was
wanted him to wheel out Maduro like Hannibal Lecter, fucking wheel him out there during the halftime show.
So there was a certain builder in T-Mobile on Monday. We're getting new phones and all that, and the guy at the desk goes, "Hey, what'd you think of the Super Bowl?" He goes, "Oh, I didn't watch it. Wasn't gonna wasn't gonna watch that Mexican or whatever." And this gal turns around to me and looks at me and Emily and goes, "Well, he was gonna build my house."
Yeah.
All right.
But I know the economics is not MAGA's strong point, but it's it should be obvious to anyone who knows anything about the business of the NFL that they have pretty much maxed out their market share in the United States. They're about as big as they're going to be. Yeah. So Roger Goodell, his goal over the past 3 to 4 years has been to make the NFL a worldwide brand. Yeah. They've got games in Mexico City, Brazil, London, Germany, Dublin. So it just makes sense, if that's what Roger Goodell is trying to do, to have the world's biggest musician, Bad Bunny, and it just happens that he doesn't speak English.
Yeah, because they're going to open a team within the next 5 years in Mexico City.
Yes, and they want to have a Super Bowl in Europe. They want to have one in London.
I didn't hear a single one of those billionaire football team owners complaining.
Right, but this
not
is...
Not a single one.
But this is... We talk about this all the time on the show. This is just, they keep us fighting. This culture war keeps raging, keeps us fighting while they get rich.
Well, the funny part was, like, a lot of the argument was just like, oh, God, he's not American. Well, he's obviously from Puerto Rico.
Right, he's American citizen,
who sang at the opening of the Olympics? Oh, that might have been Mariah Carey. Oh, she was born in New York.
Oh, yeah.
There was the Italian Olympics with a U.S. singer singing for the opening ceremony. And
She's brown.
Like, so was that a problem?
Right, yeah. It's all just so exhausting. And we had Shakira not too many years ago singing at the halftime show in Spanish.
Who's that?
She's the one that shakes her hips. Whenever.
Yeah, but she's a cute girl.
Wherever. Right,
that's different.
Exactly.
So if you're a MAGA dude, that's okay.
And it was very funny that they thought Mr. Bunny was wearing an AOC jersey because the back of his jersey said Ocasio. But that's just his last name. People were like, this AOC shit. It's like, no, that's...
You're not talking about the Chica girl from, like, the 60s and 70s.
No.
It was on, like, Hollywood
Shakira's
Squares.
Brazilian.
It was probably...
Huge
Who am I thinking
popular
of, man?
star.
I thought you were talking about, like,
Charo.
Oh, Charo, man.
Charo.
She's hot as fuck.
Coochie.
Yeah,
Coochie.
Shakira must have been, like, 2014. I mean, it was fairly recent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not
just one of those things.
I'm not pop culture guy.
It's just one of those things that's so exhausting because everyone's talking about it and it's just so stupid.
We're not talking about the Epstein files, though. You gotta give it that.
Well, it is kind of that classic mixed direction, and I mean, I think the administration uses that a lot, and it's kind of, I think, Trump's days in reality TV, quite frankly. I mean, look at how reality TV functions.
Yeah.
Create controversy where none exists to misdirect and get people back the next week.
Yep. Exactly.
And then you're on to the next thing about that doesn't really fucking exist.
And script it all.
And script it all.
You know it's all coming, but Americans are too dumb to
we
know
love
that's how it
reality
is.
TV.
We do. You know?
I mean, we elected Trump, right?
Yeah, we love twice.
We did, twice.
Well,
twice.
3 times. If you count,
3 times.
If you count
That's right.
2020.
That's right. Yeah, he won 3. Yeah.
Which Steve and I, we count 2020.
You know, that's another thing you're never going to prove to that 20-30% that this was litigated to fucking death. Hit this election in 2020.
Oh, the election fraud. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, the stupidity is so strong.
Yeah.
Like when I tell people on Facebook or whatever, and I'm saying, help us fight stupid, please like, comment, and share. Help us. Let's all help each other. Because we got to spread this word and we got to fight stupid because I don't see it being anything else.
You can't convince the 20 to 30%. You're just wasting your breath.
We only need a couple percent, though.
And you're trying to drown a vampire with your own blood.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. They love it.
Even if you ate a lot of garlic.
Yeah, they love it.
Speaking real quick of the Epstein files, we saw a lot of names that have come out that have been in the files. You want to hear some names that didn't make the files but wanted to?
Yes.
Yeah. Paul Rubin.
Oh yeah. Rest
Bill
in
Cosby.
Peace. Yeah. Oh, Bill. Yeah.
Kid Rock really wanted to be on
Kid
that.
Rock
Surprising he wasn't on there.
That dude from the '70s show. Yeah, he's in jail right now.
Danny Masterson.
Danny Masterson. He really wanted to be on that.
Yeah, he's doing like 70
And big
years.
surprise, Steve Quinnell. He was
Steve.
I know.
Oh no.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
I hope he's not watching. Sorry, Steve. I came up with that last night in a drunken stupor. I thought it was funny. Anyway, so Mike's Minutia Minute, because this is going to be
brought
pretty
to you by
interesting.
Tamarack Skis.
Tamarack Ski Shop. Tamarack Ski Shop, serving big mountain skiers since 1999.
I just rented some last week. They were great. It was a great deal. They were fast. They were freshly waxed. It was awesome.
We like them
Nice.
fast.
Good service.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, service.
Okay, sir.
So yeah, tell us about this 1630 fund, Mike. It looks like dark money is rearing its evil head in Montana.
You know, I started paying a little bit of attention. I got this email from Shelter Whitefish a while ago, and they threw under every nonprofit in Whitefish under the bus. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? And so, you know, I've given them money way back when they first started. I gave them $20 here and that
I gave them $750 to start.
Yeah, back when they were kind of starting.
I gave them the money,
so I
I
was
took
like,
the file.
well, you know, what's going on? And so I started doing a little bit of digging, and one of the things that I ran across was this article in the AP News talking about this guy, Hans Georg Wyss, a Swiss billionaire, who is funding a group called 1630 Fund.
You know, Hansi lives right over on Summers.
Yeah, he lives just on Summers. And so he's dumped $208 million into this fund himself. And he's got a lot of other funders that, you know, they're just billionaires. It is the Soros of the world and that kind of stuff on the Democratic side, you know, that are kind of doing this.
Yeah.
And so I pulled up Shelter Whitefish's 990. You know, they have to file with the feds. And so I pulled up their 990, and I discovered that in 2024, they got $241,000.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, here's their 990 if you want to look at it.
And I had to sponsor his baseball team?
$241,000. And so I was like, well, what the heck? Where are they getting that kind of money from? You know, and so I pulled up their SOS filings, and, you know, they're with Department Secretary of State, you know, they have to file there, and they're a public benefit corporation without members. And so, well, okay, so they're not getting their money from membership. And so I remember this 1630 fund, and, you know, they're into a lot of, you know, Shelter Whitefish is not alone in receiving dark money from 1630 fund.
Right,
there's a lot of groups in Montana that are getting it. But Shelter Whitefish kind of caught my attention because, you know, they were up in Helena and they hired a lobbyist. They spent $30,000 on a lobbyist up there to get some legislation passed. And now they're on the local front here doing advocacy work, and some of their board members are on the planning boards and that kind of stuff. No problem there. But the dark money stuff really caught my attention. And so I pulled up the 1630 funds in 2022, 2023, and 2024. And in 2022, the 1630 fund, they list Shelter Whitefish. There it is. $65,000 they gave.
Holy
cow. And in 2023, 1630 fund, this Swiss billionaire who's got some planning issues in Whitefish or something like that.
What's that?
Gave another $34,000. And in 2024, the IRS is reporting that 1630 fund gave Shelter Whitefish another $62,500.
Damn.
And so there's like $150,000, $160,000 that they've gotten dark money, 1630.
What are they spending that on?
Well, I don't really know what they bought that lobbyist and that kind of stuff, and they're doing some advocacy work in Whitefish, obviously, and, you know, maybe they got some good money.
But the director person's getting paid now.
The director person's getting paid. But the thing that really got in my craw is, like, they're throwing every nonprofit in Whitefish under the bus. They say, oh, they're getting money from, like, the community fund. Yeah, the community fund discloses all their donors.
Right.
You know, but these guys are, like, hiding their money. And who knew that they had this kind of money from the 1630 fund?
Well,
and then, you know, lo and behold, I was like, Well, I remember Congress being upset about something about this. And here I pulled this memo from, what's his name's committee, Comer's committee, the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, November 18th of last year. And lo and behold, they're investigating the 1630 fund.
Oh, boy.
And their Alabella advisors, who are now the Sunflower Services. And so those are the kind of the groups that advise the 1630 fund on where to distribute the money. And, you know, the 1630 fund is not the only one. You got the North Fund, and you got the New Venture Fund as well. And so you got all these groups, and these are kind of like the Democratic dark money groups.
Right.
And, you know, but the reason that Shelter Whitefish caught my attention is like, well, so you're taking this dark money from Switzerland and you're advocating for planning issues in whitefish? It's like, what kind of sense does that make? And so,
well, particularly because one of their big complaints against Heart of Whitefish, love them or hate them, it's, you make your choice, but it's this shadowy organization that nobody knows who it is or where the money comes from or what their mission or their goal is. I mean, that's what they say every time they talk about them. Like they're this big evil thing, when in reality they're funding themselves with money that no one knows where it's coming from.
No one knows where it's coming from. And, you know, you have to go to the IRS documents to figure out
tenants at the garden wall, I'm assuming.
Right, all 5 rooms.
But but don't think it's the Democrats only that are doing the dark money. And I think we'll talk about some of these other groups because there's a whole list of groups when you start looking at these. There's a lot of them.
Really?
And so, you know, I pulled up like the Frontier Institute, which is kind of like the Republican dark money group.
That's the people that were suing us over our architectural standards.
Exactly. And so, you know, they've got last year they had 739,000. This in 2024 they're reporting $629,000, all dark money, all not reported. But then the thing that really caught my attention is like, well, who's on their board of directors? And lo and behold, Joseph Coco.
Oh, Joe Coco
is their chairman.
Really?
And you know, and they have these other guys in there.
That's not really a surprise.
It's not a huge surprise.
Funny story, actually. When I was mayor, I went. He wanted me to come. They were doing their governmental unit. He was the head of the Boy Scout troop. And so I came and addressed the, you know, and talked about local government and government how it works, everything else. I never got invited back.
Probably
I think
not.
Joe just sat on the back and frowned the entire time. It's like, oh, you don't like my brand of government? Sorry.
But both the Republicans and the Democrats are kind of like, they've gotten infatuated with this dark money stuff. And, you know, and it's cutting across the board. And so for some reason, we're allowing the billionaires, whether they're from Switzerland or Wyoming or wherever the Koch brothers are from, to come into our state and dictate what we think about. You know, that's weird to me.
All of this is weird. How, you know, you hear the rumors of, you know, the D.C. Democrats telling Montana what candidates to run. They're going to fund some candidate that, you know, maybe Montana doesn't necessarily agree with. And, you know, why wouldn't you talk to people from Montana? And it's just, I mean, you know who needs to think about, you know, care and worry about dark money more than the politicians? It's the voters. The voters we need to keep talking about it. We need to talk about why this country is so fucked up. I mean, I get an argument with my buddy all the time about capitalism, you know. And, you know, he's really worried about immigration. And, you know, he's from England originally. And, you know, England is now ruined. It's completely ruined. It's a fucking shell of its former self because of all the Muslim stuff. And you got a big, a lot of people worried about Islam taking over America now. They're 1.3% of the fucking population, okay? Another, you know, something to make you scared over, you know, or scared about. But people, you know, they want to know what's going on. Why are we being bought and sold like this? Well, I mean, because, you know, we have unfettered capitalism, you know. Like, yes, it'd be great if there was a happy medium, and I think we've tried this happy medium for a long time, this blend of socialism and capitalism, but obviously it's not for everybody. I mean, this separation, you know, of rich and poor, it's growing at an alarming rate, you know, and I don't know if the government's counting on all these rich people to just take care of everything, you know, like, because there's enough of them now. I don't know. But, I mean, if people start voting for people that actually care about them and aren't taking this dark money, that are against what's ruining this country, hopefully, maybe there's a chance. I mean, I think it's going to take a long time.
Well, the stuff that's really difficult with the dark money in my mind is there is this consultants. There's consultants that are running this thing, and they're making their Mercedes payments, because they're getting paid big bucks, and they don't really care if you win or if you lose or if you're an independent or a Democratic candidate, because they're going to get paid. Their ad people are going to get paid, and they're going to make big money. And they're kind of like taking all the money away from the candidates and the party.
Yeah.
And so now the consultants are kind of, with tens of millions of dollars, they're kind of dictating what we think about, how we think about it, and how we move forward.
And they own the media that tells us how to do all those things.
Sure do.
And that's sad. And I'm hoping I hope that changes. I hope anybody that is taking this kind of money, is exposed for it. I hope, that people that aren't taking the money are the ones that end up on top. And we'll see. I mean, we will see. What's great? Having Andy in, but more than just not having Steve.
Other than I'm just sitting here having a free beer.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to smell Steve and his patchouli, but no, we can talk a little bit about tariffs, because when we had you on the show, Andy, that was almost a year ago, believe it or not.
What? Yeah, it was, because I hadn't even filed for re-election at that point.
Yeah,
That's true.
So it was almost a year ago, and we talked a little bit about tariffs because Trump was threatening shit, and it was starting to happen. And at that
Liberation
time,
Day had
April 15th,
had just about
I think it
happened.
just happened sometime in April, I bet, because we started in March. But we talked about it, and you were telling me about you have companies in Vietnam and China and stuff, and at that time, my girlfriend gets a lot of stuff from Vietnam and China. She does T-shirts, screen printing and stuff, and I mean, her shit was all over the place, you know. And now that we see that the farmers are hurting, this is hurting so many people. Where do you think we're at now in the last year? Because you are somebody that directly works overseas, this affects you. You're somebody that actually knows. You can tell us a little bit about it. You might have to get to your
Although
notes.
when I started working in Asia, which is over 25 years ago, I did not have to have glasses. So there you go.
I bet you didn't.
I mean, I think the best answer to that question is the Kiel Institute, is a nonpartisan economic institute group. They just released a study a week ago, and they analyzed $4 trillion in trade since the tariffs have come into effect. And they traced 96% of the tariffs paid on that are being paid by consumers and importers. 96%.
So the businesses and the people buying it.
To the tune of about $200 billion at this point.
So you can attribute high prices to this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a quiet, direct tax, essentially, is what
Which is just about what every single economist said.
Everybody said that was exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's a lot of, so these guys, they want an economy that existed 40 or 50 years ago.
Yes.
That's what they think is still going to happen, where dad gets a job and he works at Ford Motor for 40 years and he makes a good living. And, well, then you can afford a house on that living. But, you can't do that today. And so, my common answer to all that is like, that ship sailed 40 years ago and it had containers on it. So you can wake up and join the real world now.
Well, how do you go back? You don't go back.
You can't go back.
You can't go back.
Where's the world market? I mean, this is a world economy. I'm sorry.
And I think the Chinese proved, the Chinese were always the largest economy in the world, except for the last couple hundred years.
Right.
And now they'll get back there.
Pretty
Particularly,
soon.
they're looking at having the RMB become a convertible currency.
They're killing it.
They're killing it. And for a lot of reasons. One, they work hard. They invest in public infrastructure that supports that kind of thing.
You can buy a house for $5,000 in China.
You got cheap power.
Cheap power. You're right. I mean,
and the idea is for Trump, and they want to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. Well, if we actually look what's happened in the last year, industrial output has actually increased since the tariffs went in, but only in two sectors, electronics and aerospace.
Oh, well,
period. But if you look at all actual...
And who's putting all the money in aerospace?
Oh, it'd be
we
like
are.
Musk.
The taxpayers.
And Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I shop on Amazon and buy another rivet on his spaceship, it pisses me off. Right?
I know.
I'm just like... But, so those two sectors have actually gone up. But what we've really seen, though, is we've seen a loss of manufacturing jobs in this country.
Yes, I think 80,000 was the number last year.
Yeah, and we've also seen a much slower level of investment in plant and equipment. It's lower now than it was at the end of the Biden administration. But Biden administration, they had a bunch of monies they put into battery factories and chip factories, and which, that helped. That's what the Chinese government does. They put public money into private industry to make it go.
And big money people that could do things and could very well build big companies, not even knowing if they're going to get the employees, where the fuck they're going to get them when we're kicking all the brown people out. But, I mean, you think about it. I mean, you're going to have a different president, especially with this one fucking up so much every day. People just can't wait to get rid of the guy. So the new president's going to change all this shit anyway. Probably go back to a lot more common sense. I don't give a fuck who wins. They're going to have more common sense than this guy.
Which is exactly why everything's come to a kind of grinding halt in the country.
Right.
Nobody's willing to do anything because there's one thing business doesn't like, particularly manufacturing business, is uncertainty.
Yes. And that's what we're all dealing with.
The company that I work for in Vietnam, I mean, we built a new MDF factory, just like they have over here in Columbia Falls, and although bigger, better, and newer. And we'll serve the market over there.
They built for 10% of the price.
That process was almost 8 years.
Wow.
First thought to we just had, when I was over last week, we had our grand opening. We started producing board in July, but it's almost an 8-year process and a more than $200 million investment.
Wow.
So people in an uncertain time when shit can change with a frickin' Truth Social post overnight.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, and the thing is he knew he got enough dumb people to believe that he can do anything. He's going to end all these wars. He's going to bring manufacturing back in the first week. And I mean, and people that were saying absolutely not. They're saying exactly what you just said, Andy. Yeah. Things take time. Nothing's overnight. And in America, the politics change too fast for any long-term fucking, you can't, I mean, right now, I think you'd be a fool to start anything long-term or deal with, unless you're getting a contract from the government, because you're always going to have that,
exactly. And, we've got the current case that the court heard in the summer, I think in August, or I think it was in August when they heard that's against the IEEPA, which is the International Emergency Economic Protection Act. And that's most of the tariffs and
that's the tariffs.
I lost the name of it again because it pisses me off so much, but the American Liberation Day. So that case is up. Now, they heard it and were supposed to rule in December, but historically the Supreme Court never rules on anything that deals with presidential power in the president's first year. Almost never.
They're going to wait.
Now, you had 3 courts below them all say, bullshit, he can't do this.
Right.
I mean, he's saying it's an economic emergency. Now, if it's an economic emergency, and yesterday he was sitting for an interview, and I'm going to read most of these quotes, and I apologize for reading. Generally, I don't do this. So he, in the original rollout, it was 30% tariff on Switzerland. So he gets an emergency call. And this is how he says it. I get an emergency call from the prime minister, which is actually the president. They don't have a prime minister. He doesn't really know. And
he never does.
Yeah, he doesn't even really know. And it's a woman. So that's part of this story. And President Keller sued her. And here's Trump's quote. She was agreeable, but really aggressive, but very, very aggressive. I didn't like the way she talked to us. So rather than 30%, I didn't reduce it. I increased it to 39%. Now, I'm hoping the Supreme Court listened to that. But then the follow-up to that was, so then they meet with the trade delegation after. They give him a Rolex watch and a gold bar, and he lowers it to 15%. Of
course. Oh, my God.
And he's in there arguing at the Supreme Court that we have an economic emergency. Now, everything else that didn't fall under the IEEPA, he did under Section 232, which is national security issue.
Yeah.
So under Section 232, what do you roll in under there? Furniture, kitchen cabinets.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, oh my God, we're going to be crushed to death by foreign kitchen cabinets falling out of balloons that are floating across Montana. Oh my God, look out! So it's just, it's insane. And I think he loses the IEEPA case.
You would think.
Well, you saw today that the House passed a bill to get rid of the Canadian tariffs.
Yeah.
I think it was 8 or maybe 12 Republicans jumped side, and he'll more likely veto it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Where was Zinke on that?
I'm sure on Trump's side.
I can't imagine.
Well, so, and then on the trade side, I don't know if you saw his post from last night, but he's all mad at Canada again. He's probably diverting away from Epstein a little bit.
Yes.
And they're opening the new bridge from Windsor to Detroit.
Yep.
That, of course, Hussein Obama
B. Hussein
funded. So then, therefore, it's bad. And but anyway, so what he says is, so they're Canada's negotiating a trade deal with China right now.
Yeah.
Because guess what? China needs grain, and we're not selling it to them.
Nope.
So, Canada's doing what they should
is.
do. So Trump says his post last night was, I hope they know that the first thing China's going to do is get rid of hockey in Canada, and there'll never be another Stanley Cup. He posted that.
That's fucking nuts.
He actually posted that.
God damn it.
Does he think Canadians are as dumb as we are?
They asked, they worded it really stupid. Use your mic.
Mike.
Oh, yeah. So we got a question from Patrick here. They asked...
Patrick Quinnell.
Yeah. They asked, there are people on your podcast to outsource to China. So do either of you outsource to China at all?
I don't know. I'm not outsourcing to China.
Ed's not outsourcing to China, Patrick.
Okay, good.
I don't outsource anything in China. We manufacture in Vietnam.
No.
All right, so no.
I've been trying to ship garlic to China, but they produce too much.
Probably do. Well,
that said, in true disclosure, I have one raw material that I do buy in China, import into Vietnam, and then use.
But you're not paying any tariffs from China to I mean, if you are, it's not
paying for Vietnam now.
Yeah.
And sadly, what's happened with most manufacturers is they've all gotten as tight as they can.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Importers have gotten as tight as they can. Retailers have held the line as best as they can. So the full impact in terms of pricing has only been passed along, even with 25% tariffs, maybe 12 to 16%, depending on the industry. But, it's just this misnomer that
It's unnecessary.
Asia makes a lot of money, or wherever, or India, or anyone. I mean, they don't. I mean, all those factories, they're lucky to make 8-10%. Selling U.S. retailers.
Wow.
Man.
Well, but their scale is so massive that it's good money.
Exactly.
It's still good money. But it doesn't need to be that way.
And honestly, we had virtually no inflation for more than 20 years. And why? Because we outsourced manufacturing to lower cost manufacturing environments.
Yep.
It's insane. It's unnecessary. It's like we have a guy, and I know now because of this Epstein thing is so fucking big.
It's big.
And so brutal. Yeah. It's so big that this is the reason he fought so
going,
hard to become president.
No.
I'm starting to question, and I have never been this conspiracy theorist guy, but I am definitely questioning this last election.
Jump in, the
I'm
water's
officially
fine.
doing it, because did he win? Because if there's a way to manipulate it, he's got all the tech bros on his side. Things are easily manipulated. And now they're going after all these ballot boxes and all this information, the voter administration. We're turning our voter. Oh, Chrissy Jacobson can't fucking wait to give it to him.
Right, she can't give it over fast.
Like, can I suck your dick too, please?
She can't get rid of it fast enough.
No, and you're seeing that, and obviously all red states are going to do that, But it's just it's so unnecessary to put so many people through this pain to double and triple their fucking healthcare bills. 20 million Americans at least. I'm a guy that, I'm not poor by any means, but I also made a decision to have a accident-only policy because I'm not paying $1,300 a month.
Yeah.
I was paying $600. I could do that.
The pain is real. They want you to feel the pain.
They want you to feel the pain.
They want you to keep arguing amongst yourselves because they're robbing us blind.
They're robbing us blind, and that's what they're doing.
But if we can only prevent 20 more trans athletes from playing college sports, we can solve all this economy stuff.
We probably could.
You know how many were in college?
Pray the
last
gay
year?
away.
It wasn't a lot. I don't know the number. 5?
It was like 5 out
that
of
sounds
like.
about right.
Damn them.
Out of like 120,000 athletes or something insane like that. Like, yeah, it was.
You remember when Bezos said forcing Amazon?
500,000.
When Bezos said forcing Amazon to list the tariff prices on their website would be hostile and political?
Yep.
Man.
I mean, look at this son of a bitch is suing the fucking IRS for $10 billion because somebody leaked his tax information out. And Jamie Raskin, I think it was today, asked Pam Bondi that if the victims and the Epstein victims can now sue the government because they leaked their fucking personal information out. So if Trump was Texas and this is their livelihood and who they are, how much could they be liable for? And that fucking bitch didn't say a goddamn word except for, have you seen the economy? The stock market's booming. That's not an answer, you dumb asshole. But that's how she rolls. But that's how they all roll.
Remember, kids, Jeff Bezos got his $8 billion tax cut, but not you.
No.
You got to pay an extra $1,000 a year for
and
these
I get
tariffs.
to buy my stuff from him too.
Yep.
Because stores has less stuff nowadays because of tariffs.
He got an $8 billion tax cut, but you got to pay $1,000
And this
more.
makes sense. Home Depot's or Lowe's always have this big rack of fucking phone chargers, $5.99 or $4.99. So I went there for a phone charger the other day, $10.99, and they didn't have many of them. Yeah. So I was like, fuck this, I'm not spending that. I go to Ross, because I know Ross has 1 million of them. Ross had like 4. What the fuck? There's some weird things going on in retail right now that you're not seeing stuff you're used to, and the prices for things that are super fucking cheap are not at all right now.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
inventories have run out. That's a big part of it. Inventories are down. And the other thing that has actually minimized the impact to a certain degree, even though like in phone chargers and stuff, it's really other stuff is bad, but container prices are way down. I mean, pandemic container prices, like East Coast of the U.S., out of Asia, you were paying $18,000 for that container.
Wow.
Today you're paying $4,000 for that same container.
Wow.
And
so shit should be cheaper.
yeah, so during the pandemic, it was an opportunity because the volumes were down. It was an opportunity for the shipping lines to rip everybody's lips off, essentially.
Right.
They all blamed it on a
Everybody did it.
container
You're
shortage
right. Everybody
because
blamed
we weren't
everybody.
getting 60% of the containers were stalled in the U.S. because we didn't have truck drivers to get them back to the ports, and the ports are going slower and everything else. But this time they're realizing it's like, okay, we kind of maybe need to help out here a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, you take companies like Home Depot, I mean, they're probably in the hundreds of thousands of containers a month coming out of Asia.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I know like Ashley Furniture alone, I think they're 10,000 a month or something out of Vietnam alone.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like crazy numbers, like
Holy
huge numbers.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of us. Yeah. There's a lot of purchasing going on. A lot of,
Well, there is, yeah. And and a lot of it, other stuff too, is just like, it's manufacturing that won't happen in the U.S. if we don't do it somewhere else. That's the other bottom line of it. So.
Hey, who came up with this link that the typical U.S. worker has $955 saved for retirement?
Yeah, that was on CBS News this week.
On Barry Weiss's news?
I guess, yeah. $955 saved for retirement.
That's it.
What?
That's the average.
Yep.
Holy fuck, dude.
That factor figures in workers with 401k and other retirement savings.
So we definitely don't need Social Security. We should privatize that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, what's the other statistic? It's like, what percentage of families have $400 or less
right.
to spend in the case of an emergency? It's like some huge percentage of the population in our country. And
yep.
It's big. And that's scary.
And there's a lot of things, too. It's like, I mean, you take, for example, in Vietnam, I mean, you can have a cell phone there with better coverage than we have here. And I mean, your total bill is going to be like $5 a month.
Okay, so that's what I know.
Not $100 a line like it is here.
Like the great thing I think about TikTok is a lot of creators out there are just regular people that walk around places they live. So I follow people around China all over the place because I find it incredibly interesting. I'll spend an hour or two some nights just following these different people because and asking them questions. So say I'm I'm joining the middle class as a Chinese person, which they just started building over the last 15 years or so. But you go get a job, you buy a house for $5,000, you go grocery shopping, you spend about $30 to $40 for your whole week. I mean, he's showing me a 16-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew that's $2.79 in America. It's fucking 39 cents in China. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And they're making it here, shipping it there, and they're paying $2 less.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So. Yeah, I'm definitely blaming Obama. You're right.
You can't un-Mountain Dew what's been mountain done.
But it's
but the stock market 50,000. That's why.
The stock market's
That's
booming,
why.
because that matters.
The Dow
But
hit
it
50.
is something in these these Asian countries where the cost of living is so low, and you have rich people, you have jobs, you have middle class, you've got people having fun. Like I know a lot of Americans are just like, nobody's as good as we are. Nobody has the fun we do. Well, I don't know, man. I'm looking at following people all over the world that are having a great time.
They don't have fun in Macau.
And their cops aren't fucking killing people in the streets either, you know? Well, I'm saying it's not all of them. Not all of the places. Not at all. No.
Well, we're kind of heading to a first-class society. You know,
Yes.
it's kind of like how the airlines operate now.
Kind of like how China was.
First class, or you got to buy a seat. That's kind of where we're heading.
Yeah.
It does seem that way with the amount of poor people that we get every year. More and more poor people, more and more people claiming bankruptcy. You know, and we've got this elite class, and those are the only, like, you know, we live in Whitefish. The only people coming here to visit, they have money. I haven't seen a poor family in I don't know how fucking long here.
Well, there was that guy in 1981.
Yeah, I do remember him. He was pretty poor, you know. But, you know, renting skis for 26 years, up until pandemic, we were renting to regular folks all the time. That's what we did. You know, now it's like I can charge whatever I want. I have not seen a regular person come through that store in 5 years at all. So I did start charging more. I'm like, fuck it, you know. And this year, obviously, tariffs. A lot of ski stuff came in a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
depends on what country they're made, because some are in Ukraine, some are in Slovenia, some are, you know, in China and whatever. I mean, I still don't buy any skis from China, but they're coming from other countries that are getting tariffed, you know. I mean, it's...
Did K2 manufacture in China for a while? That's
a
what I
long
thought.
time. They moved there in a long time ago.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Vocal, K2, well, I mean, fuck most. In fact, in Germany, when the government found out Vocal was making most of their skis in China, they fined them, and they made them make a certain percentage of their skis in Germany.
Really?
Because they have funded their fucking factory, and
Yeah.
funded their employees, and funded so many things for them. And then they're like, oh, well, let's just fucking move on here, you know? And Germany's like, you know, that wouldn't happen in America, that's for sure. But regardless, it's, you know, it's a world economy, and it's world, like, it's another thing I got in an argument with a guy about immigration and stuff. And it's like, sure, I get it. Everybody needs rules. But God damn it, man. You know, like, you know, there's a way to do, there's a right way and a wrong way. And diversity, certain people just think diversity is horrible.
Well,
I happen to think it's great.
We need workers. I mean, look at Xanterra. They're building housing
know.
for all
Well,
those
they're trying.
J1 employees.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we need workers.
I mean, I'm assuming the county commissioners are going to let them do what they want. They let everybody else. Well, probably not. You know, the commissioners, maybe not with the national park. They might like, nah, I don't
That's
know.
federal.
You know, that's federal.
Yeah.
They're not a state company.
Those are the
That's
bad
true.
guys.
Yeah, I mean, we got some
You know,
some dillies, but I find that number pretty scary, man. $955 for fucking retirement.
Terrifying.
Wow, man. I mean, well, and a lot
That's
of
a
them,
few orders of wings.
It is not many. So I'm raising those prices on wings.
All right, Ed, I got a quote for you here.
What's your quote of the
It's a
week?
pretty
I
good-
need to know it.
It's a pretty good one here.
But I gotta find my marijuana. God, I lost it again.
We've got to do something about these missing children grabbed by the perverts. Too many incidents, fast trials, death penalty.
Ooh,
God.
I want to say like
Lindsey
Ted
Graham.
Cruz.
That was a
Matt
Donald
Gates?
That was a Donald Trump tweet on October 8th of 2012.
Oh my God.
2012.
Whoa, that did not
who's
age
the Republican
well.
Congresswoman going off today about they're raping your children.
Yes, it was.
Oh, what was her name? Short little gal, and she was going on and on and on and on and everything about it. I'm going, oh, did you just read the Epstein files?
Yeah. Oh man.
What?
That's,
She said what?
yeah, I
it
don't
was
remember
the
her name. I'll send you
Classic
the.
immigrant rant.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
of course.
I'll send you the link.
She kind of looked like my sister when my sister was 30 years younger. So.
You know what was good news today? I thought that a grand jury could not find the evidence to indict Mark Kelly or any of the other people that spoke ago.
Oh yeah, Space Boy did not get
Yeah,
indicted.
Space Boy did not get indicted, and you know he wasn't worried in the least bit. I was. Okay, because like when I heard the unemployment numbers today, 4.3. Fuck you! I don't trust a goddamn thing.
Didn't they fire that guy who made the
Yeah,
numbers?
they fire everybody. I mean, I don't. If you trust any number they come
Right,
up with,
it's tough.
You got to get your brain checked, you know. But they gave me a little hope. That was a little glimmer of hope that you know a grand jury could. I mean, he couldn't manipulate a grand jury.
Ordinary people said,
Right, and I think you would find that with most. But I'll tell you, I thought for sure he'd probably just kind of rig it. You know, I just that's what I figured.
Well, the same thing
He
they
will.
said with the sandwich guy in New York. You know, the guy who threw that hero against the ICE people, and they said, you're not guilty.
Yeah, no, I know. The sandwich guy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that was another one.
That trial transcript is hilarious, by the way.
There was another good
Oh,
news
it's so
today,
funny.
though, too. So the National Governors Association is meeting in D.C.
Yeah.
and they always have a dinner with the president.
Yeah.
With wives and family and everything else. Trump invited only 48 governors. He didn't invite Wes Moore.
Right. From Maryland.
The only black governor in the country from Maryland.
And Colorado, Polis.
And he didn't
the gay guy.
Polis. And
it's crazy.
All the governors declined. The Governors Association declined. There was going to be no dinner. They said.
I heard Bashir talk about that. He's the chair or something.
Yep. They said, you don't invite us all. None of us are
fuck
coming.
you. I like that. Then people
and the
got to stick
president
together.
spoke, and I can't remember who he's from, and he's a Republican, and he said, we're here to try and work together and make this country better. We're not here to divide us. And
leave to the governors.
So we're not going to come. Sorry.
Well, that's great. I'm surprised.
That's a good kick in the balls for him.
I'm surprised DeSantis didn't raise a stink. He's a little fucking whipping boy, isn't he?
Is.
Well, I'm sure G.I. Farted was probably not that
DeSantis
not that happy with it. But
no, dude. No, of course not. Of course, you know you won't hear a word from him. Steve, TJ, you got a quick story for us before we go?
Yeah, sure. So
yeah.
I have this buddy in the military, right? He was on this training exercise. It was a timed ruck, meaning that, like, if you stop, you get time against you. And he really had to take a piss. It was cold as fuck out. He didn't want to stop. He wanted to keep going. So he whips out his dick while he's running, and he pisses. But he decides he's going to leave his, like, piss flap open just in case he's got to piss again. He doesn't want to fuck with it, you know? So no big deal. He keeps running, not really thinking nothing of it. The sweat's pouring down his back, and he created this wind tunnel, so he got frostbite on his dick and ass. And this dude just loves the country, you know. He just wants to make a difference, and he actually cares about his fellow man. But these other motherfuckers I know with some ice on them hate this country, and they want to tear it down and not build but destroy. So props to my bro who got ice on his dick and his ass, and all you other motherfuckers with ice on, you can suck my cock.
Oh, man. Woo. Whoa, that's TJ. Remember,
hot takes
once we hit 100,000 viewers, you can see who TJ is.
You get
but
to
not
see his
until
face.
then. You get to see his face.
I'm looking at him right now. It's worth it.
It is.
Somebody texted me. I don't know who this is, but they're watching our live stream, and for the love of God, let them phone in. We don't have a phone-in option.
But
you can
we
talk.
need a phone.
We will. We're on it.
Great.
We're going to have one, but you can reach out to TJ right now.
Imagine
on
the kind of
Facebook.
maniacs,
that
and
works.
alcoholics, and unemployable people that would call into this podcast
yeah.
live on the air.
It'd
Oh
be
my
great.
God!
It would be
It'd
awesome.
be like 12-hour day.
It would
We'd
be
be like an afternoon drive time
That
show
might not
in
be a good
Chicago.
idea.
incredible.
Maybe say there's technical difficulties tonight.
Yeah, we would run into that. We'd run into that a lot. Well, next week we have Brian Andrews, I think, back on the show.
Brian's coming back on the show.
Yep.
He's been on fire.
Love
yeah,
Brian.
he's been on fire.
Fresh
He's been
off his interview with Rolling Stone magazine.
That was awesome.
Love Brian.
And a bunch of interviews I've seen him in. And believe it or not, it looks like we'll have Joe Exotic on the show, thanks to Ryan.
Yeah, Tiger King.
We don't know why, but
Why
that
not?
might happen. Yeah, why not? I suppose.
Political prisoner.
And
Do we have to pay for his call?
Sure, I'll pay for
Oh,
it.
we're going to have to pay for it for sure. I can't wait to hear you have a collect call from prison or to
Right.
the whatever prison he's in. I think he's in a Texas prison, and I think he's serving until 2036.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And I don't know.
Did he get a leopard print suit?
I don't know. Isn't he in for murder?
Why hasn't he been pardoned?
I don't know.
I don't
think it
know
was,
that. Well,
know
I think because he doesn't like Trump.
I mean, he
came
could work
back
with
in-
Linda McMahon on running the Department of Education.
He
That'd
probably
be a good
could. He would
combo.
help. Yep.
he came back into the news because he was trying to get Trump to pardon him. Because I
Oh,
don't know if it was
That's why he wants
fraud
to be
or
on
if
the
it was
show.
murder, or if he tried to hire someone to kill that bitch Carol Baskin, or
that bitch.
yeah.
God, I
Love Tiger
remember
King.
that. I think even the first podcast we did, we had Carol Baskin jokes. That was like 3 or
Probably.
4 years ago. Yeah,
It was
man, That was
huge.
pretty fucking funny.
It was like the first week of COVID. It was on Netflix, and everyone was home, and everyone was watching Tiger King.
Oh yeah.
That's like it went crazy.
Wild.
What a country!
what
a
a
country.
country.
Well, my first question is because he did a show in Havre in like '95.
That's
I
incredible.
have so many
What?
questions about that. It was at the mall, I guess.
I
want to hear all about it.
Everything's at the mall in Havre. Wow. I wish I knew who this was that texted me. I'm sure they'll reach out somehow. But well, I think next week we're going to be in a new studio.
Yeah, yep. New studio.
New equipment, and all kinds of stuff. It'd be pretty cool. But we want to thank the Montana Tap House for being our sponsor. 58 taps, plenty of good times.
Yep.
And
great trivia on Tuesday nights.
Great memories, if you can remember them.
Right.
They even got Mick Ultra here.
Yeah, we got Michelob Ultra on tap. We got all the light beers on tap.
It's all anyone drinks anymore.